Hello, how's it going?
Good, how about you?
I'm doing good. So what's your complete name?
Romy Hildebrand.
Is your last name a common one?
It is in Germany.
Does it have any meaning to it?
Most German last names do because they're made from parts of German words, but mine isn't.
When were you born?
I was born in 2000.
Where were you born exactly?
I was born in Hamburg in Germany.
Where were you raised?
I was raised in Germany until I was about 4 or 5, and then we moved to California after that.
Okay. What's your ethnicity?
I'm white.
Do you follow any religious beliefs?
I do not, but my family back home, especially my grandparents, were Catholic.
So what's your primary language?
I spoke German at first, but then I learned English. I still speak German at home and with all of my family members and my friends back home in Germany.
What are the rules for conversation between older and younger people in Germany?
In German, there's a formal you and an informal you, and you have to use the formal you with older people when you're younger, and then adults use it with each other when they first meet each other, and you have to use it with your teachers and stuff like that as well.
How do people usually greet each other? Is it similar to America?
Yeah, it is.
Do most children attend public, private, or religious schools?
In Germany, the public schools have a lot more funding than they do in the US, and the majority of kids go to public school.
Do they provide any lunches at school for free?
Lunch in Germany is actually a lot longer of a break than it is here, so kids can go home for lunch.
Were you raised in a city, a suburb, or the country?
I was raised in a suburb in Germany.
What was the climate like there?
We have all 4 seasons in Germany, so it snows in the winter, and in the summer there's a lot of thunderstorms, which, at least in California, there aren't here.
What type of animals are in Germany?
There's a lot of deer in Germany.
Are there any other type of animals?
There's foxes.
How would you describe the lifestyle in Germany?
One difference I can think of is when you go out to eat, whether it's for dinner or something, people hang out a lot longer at restaurants and like spend time with whoever they came with, whereas here you kind of just go to like eat.
What ethnicity group was the minority?
I don't know.
What were the most common forms of transportation?
In Germany, the public transportation system is a lot better, so the buses like always come and leave on time. A lot of people take the bus and stuff like that because getting your driver's license is a lot harder in Germany because you have to take a lot more like driving instructor hours, and that's also really expensive. So a lot of people rely on public transportation, I would say a lot more than here.
Do you have to pay for the public transportation, like the buses and everything?
I don't know.
What are some common clothes and grocery stores?
Most people in Germany actually get American brands of clothing, but it's a lot more expensive in Germany. So whenever my friends or family comes to visit here, we always go shopping here because clothes are a lot cheaper. But groceries are actually cheaper in Germany.
What types of food are commonly consumed in Germany?
We eat a lot more meat in Germany, and there's a lot more different types of sausages and stuff like that. And my grandma always had this rule, which I feel like a lot of people in Germany do, that you have to have like one like hot cooked meal a day, which I feel like is not as much a thing here.
What is the healthcare system like over there?
Because Germany has aspects of socialism, it's a lot easier to get healthcare that's really affordable over there.
Okay. Who lived in your household when you were a child? Did you have any siblings?
I lived with my mom and my dad, and my grandma lived right next door, but my siblings weren't born until we moved to the US.
Who earned the money in your household?
My mom took time off after she had me, so my dad was earning most of the money when she was raising me when I was little in Germany.
Was that common?
I know that some of my family members, like my aunt works and my uncle doesn't, so I guess it just depends.
What are some common jobs in Germany?
I would say that it's almost the same as here. Tech is really big. That's what my dad's in, so stuff like that.
Who prepared the food around your house?
My grandma cooked a lot for me. Yeah, that was pretty much it. My mom did sometimes, but it was mainly my grandma when I was growing up.
Who usually served the food?
My grandma did.
Who took care of you when you were younger?
My grandma and my mom, as well as my mom's best friend, had daughters that were older, and they would babysit me.
Are there any gender roles in Germany? Like to tell the men and women what's acceptable?
I would say it's kind of the same as here. I feel like chivalry is more of a thing in Germany for men to they're taught that. But masculinity is also not as big of a thing in Germany as it is here, for sure.
What type of games did you play as a child?
I played a lot of German board games and card games and stuff, but also tag and hide and seek like here.
Did you play any sports?
I didn't play anything when I was young in Germany, but I played soccer because that's the really big sport in Germany.
At what age are children expected to move out of their parents' home?
Because
At what age?
when kids go to college in Germany, there's no dorms. So a lot of kids, when they first go to college, they do live at home and go to the one that's close to home. But some kids also get apartments around the same age as here.
Who are the authority figures within the family?
In my family, it was probably my grandpa, which I feel like that's kind of similar here as well.
What traditions is your culture known for?
We have Oktoberfest, which is really big, especially in Munich, where you just hang out with your friends and drink a lot of beer. And Christmas is also a lot more celebrated, I feel like, than here. There's a lot of small traditions that they don't really have here.
What type of clothing is considered traditional for males and females?
Traditional clothing isn't really worn that much, but for Oktoberfest, for example, you would wear, the men would wear lederhosen and the girls would wear the traditional German dresses, which are called Dirndl.
What are some taboos in your culture and things that are forbidden?
I feel like there aren't really any that I can think of off the top of my head.
Are there any foods that are forbidden?
No.
Are there any rules about getting divorced?
There are not.
Is there same-sex marriage?
Yes, I think.
Would you say your culture values speaking your mind, your opinion?
I think it does. I think Germans culturally share their opinions a lot more, whereas in America, sometimes you don't, to be more polite, but that's not really a thing in Germany, so.
Is it different with males and females?
I don't think so.
Can you tell me some of your favorite stories from your childhood?
When I was little, my house was right by a lake, so I would go there with my cousins on weekends, which was really fun. Not when I was super little, but when I would fly back for summers and stuff. And my grandma also lived right next to a berry farm, which I would take my dogs to, and all of my cousins would go, and that was always really fun too.